morning. Can I just say I literally have no idea how I'm going to do this. I haven't, it was just an idea. And I keep recording this and I'm just like, I keep deleting it. So I've got everything sorted for work, which is what I was just doing in my little time lapse there. I have my tea here, and I thought today I would tell you guys a bit about myself because I haven't done that on the blog yet. I have done it on the blog through questionnaires and quizzes and things like that. I've done a few different blogs where I've gone through the little bits and pieces of my life without telling you guys everything, and then, you know, what I like, what I dislike, because I'm just trying to be really authentic. I want you guys to kind of get to know me, but obviously I still like my privacy. But yeah, I thought on the blog I haven't done anything like that, so I thought today I would just sit here. And I don't really like these ones where I sit here and talk to the camera. I feel like it's awkward and I keep watching the time and freaking out, but I'm just gonna sit here and tell you guys. So it'll be a summary, and maybe later on I'll do something about the little bits and pieces. But yeah, so I was born on the 3rd of April, 1986 in Sri Lanka. I was adopted when I was 6 weeks old by my English father and Australian mother. We then came back to Australia, where we were primarily based until I was, when did I move here? I moved here in 2012. We did a lot of traveling when I was really young, up until I started school, and then it was a little bit on and off after that, but we did loads of traveling. By the time I was 11, we counted, I've been to 28 countries and around the world 4 times. Which is fantastic. However, I didn't remember a lot of it because I was so young. I grew up in a town called Byron Bay, which is the most easterly point of Australia, fantastic surfing town. We also lived in Noosa. We lived on the Gold Coast just before I moved to come here. We have family in Newcastle and Brisbane. I've been to most capital cities in Australia, except I haven't been to Darwin, and I haven't been kind of northern Queensland to like Cairns and all of this where the Great Barrier Reef is. There's still plenty of things in Australia I would love to see as far as traveling goes. I lived in Bali for 2 years from being about 11 to 13. I did most of my schooling in Australia. I did do 2 years of homeschooling when I was in primary school, so we were traveling and everything like that. We used to do a lot of ski seasons, so we went to like New Mexico, Colorado, Austria, like fantastic places. I love the snow. It's my favorite thing in the world. And then, sorry, my voice is very croaky today. I went to university also in Australia. I went to Griffith University. I studied a Bachelor of Arts with a double major in sociology and history and what was it? What do they call it? History and cultural heritage or something like that. It's basically a history degree, with the idea that I would then come to the UK and work in a museum and do something fantastic like that. However, I did come to the UK before the end of my degree, and I finished my degree online, which was fine because obviously I'd done homeschooling, and I also, when I was in high school, I was studying Indonesian, and I did some homeschooling for Indonesian as well, so I was very used to kind of studying independently. So I finished that off online. When I came to the UK, I established myself in Basingstoke, which is in Hampshire. And then it's because we had family friends there and my parents were there, so I had somewhere to stay. I actually went up to the Lake District, which I didn't get to go to when I was here before. I went up to the Lake District where I worked as a general assistant, but that was way too much. They advertised it as 40 hours, and it was just an insane amount of work while I was studying. So unfortunately, I had to drag my entire life, because I took everything, because my parents were planning on going traveling again, so they were getting rid of the apartment, and I had to take my entire life back to Basingstoke and get in a rush to get another job. So actually, just let me backtrack 1 second. In 2009, I've done a couple of Kentucky tours. I don't know if you guys know what that is. So it's basically like, I think it's 18 to 35s, and it's like a bus tour, and you go around countries or a country or whatever. I did one in New Zealand when I was much younger. We went North and South Island, and then I did one in 2009 where I came here. So I initially wanted to move here in 2009, but it didn't really work out because one, I'd never lived out of my parents' house. And two, I didn't really know how it worked here. Like, I hadn't been here since I was young. And I didn't know how jobs worked, I didn't know about share houses. I don't even know if we have that so much in Australia, but I didn't know about any of that. So I ended up going back home. I was here for, 3 or 4 months. I did this Kentucky tour, which was all over Europe. It was fantastic. I saw 1,000 things. And then, I ended up going back home, which is when I started going to university. And then once I'd done all that and kind of got myself together and my parents offered to pay for the plane ticket here, that's when I came back in 2012. So when I came back from the Lake District, I came back to Basingstoke. I ended up getting a job at Hilton Basingstoke, which is no longer there. It wasn't something that I wanted to do, and I was really hesitant about taking the job because my parents have a hospitality background, and I was always very adamant that I don't want to get into that. I wanted to go work in a museum. I wanted to be around history and do artsy kind of things. I was always very artsy. But I took the job because I needed to take a job because my parents were leaving soon. I needed to be able to find somewhere to rent, and so I took that job, which turned out to be the most fantastic decision I have made. It was like, Hilton is such an amazing brand to work for. I can't even tell you guys enough about it. Maybe I'll do a vlog about it one day, but it's a fantastic brand to work for. And the team at Hilton Basingstoke, because it was so established, it was like a family. It was so nice to go there. I ended up working my way. I started as a receptionist, and then I worked my way to shift leader, and then to interim front office manager, which had the hotel not changed ownership and brands and everything, I probably would have stayed there, but I wanted to stay with Hilton. So then I ended up doing a commute from Basingstoke to Oxford, which isn't it does sound a bit crazy, but it wasn't so bad. It was like 2 trains and a bus. It was a bit of a trek each day. So I ended up there at a Hampton by Hilton in Oxford, where I was doing kind of reservations and back office work, which was nice for a change after being so front facing. When I was there, I'd also applied for a job in Kingston at this pre-opening, and I got a call about that. And then I just knew in my heart I had to work in Kingston. I had to do a pre-opening. My previous managers had always said, do a pre-opening if you can do one. They're fantastic. So I fought to get that job. I basically demoted myself, went back to supervisor in order to get the job. And then I ended up there for just under 4 years, and did assistant front office manager for the majority of it for about 3 years. But there wasn't much room for progression there, because the girl that I started with, the supervisor, she ended up as front office manager, and we were kind of very happy in our roles, but we needed to move forward, but neither of us were leaving. So, anyway, I ended up being made redundant. So that solved that problem. She went back home to Bulgaria, and now obviously I'm working in Sainsbury's. So, that's basically my life in a nutshell. My mom's side of the family, she was one of 5. I have 1,000 cousins, and they're always having babies, and there's always someone new to me, and I just want to be involved and just spend time with them and everything. So I try to go back every couple of years to visit them. While I was in Kingston, I moved a few times while I was in Basingstoke. I moved a lot since I was in the UK, trying to find the right place to live, and I've been in this apartment now for just over 2 years. 2.5 years. And I first moved here with one of my friends that I worked at the hotel with. He's from South Africa, and I lived with him for just over a year, and then he moved out, and then I do have a housemate, but she's never here, so I've kind of been living by myself, but she's lovely when she is here. So we're both very busy, so we hardly ever see each other. But anyway, so this is basically it. The next chapter is just waiting. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm hoping I have my eyes set on a job that I'm waiting for it to come up. I am looking into buying a house. I'm just kind of looking into really settling down to have a base where I'm not giving someone else rent. I'm putting money back into like my property with like mortgages and stuff like that to, I just can't wait to have my own house, to like decorate it and to make it really homey and to be able to go traveling again and see fantastic things. And you know, I'm just excited for what's to come. It can only get better, right? So yeah, I mean, that's basically it. That's me in a nutshell. I'll go through all my like favorites and bits and pieces like I did in the blog one day, but yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you like this. I know it's not my usual thing, but anyway, it is what it is. So don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified of more amazing vlogs like this. Bye, guys.